Welcome to my next Stranger Things Season 1 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important. If you aren't caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Stranger Things, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, thus far, I've seen every episode of Stranger Things. It's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time. Top 20 for sure, maybe top 10. I'm not quite sure if that's the case yet, but I'm rewatching the show to let it resonate more and to be prepared for Stranger Things Season 5, the final season of Stranger Things, which is supposed to come out in 2025. I'm hearing November, although that has yet to be confirmed. And then I'm guessing they'll give us some episodes and then take a break and push it out until 2026. So we have to keep Netflix longer than we want to, for those of you that want to cancel it, which I do sometimes because I don't always watch stuff on Netflix. So it's a good show and want to do these reviews and get them all done before the newest season and the final season of Stranger Things hits. So with all that said, this will be Stranger Things Season 1, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called The Monster, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we have trapped in the upside down world, or upside down place, with the Demogorgon. Nancy barely escapes by following Jonathan's voice to a nearby gate and being pulled through it by Jonathan. The two watching in horror as the gate seals itself up. Concerned about Nancy's strange behavior from earlier, Steve takes Tommy and Carol with him to check on her, which they mock him for. He sees Jonathan holding Nancy in her bedroom. Hopper recounts to Joyce seeing a child's room in Hawkins National Laboratory. Joyce realizes it was not Will's room when comparing his more detailed drawings to the childlike ones that Hopper saw on the wall, like stick figures versus Will's very detailed drawings. And then Hopper recalls accounts of a child being seen with Benny Hammond the night he died, and theorizes that it could be Terry Eve's abducted daughter Jane. A traumatized Nancy asks Jonathan to sleep in her bed with her, not wanting to be alone. Jonathan tries to comfort her by remarking the monster cannot get them in her house, but Nancy responds that we don't know that. Mike tears apart Eleven's blanket fort in rage just because of what's going on. Nancy tells Jonathan they need to save Will and Barb from the Demogorgon. They conclude that it is a predator drawn to blood and that they can lure it to an advantageous spot and kill it. As Karen informs Nancy that breakfast is ready, Jonathan realizes he and Nancy are holding hands before they leave out of her window. Connie visits Scott Clark under the guise of recruiting children for the Indiana AV Club, getting Mike, Dustin, and Lucas's names. Dustin visits Mike in his basement, who is angry at himself for shouting at 11 and blames Lucas for their predicament. Dustin states that they both broke their group's code and need to reconcile. Lucas will only accept Mike's apology if 11 is banished from the group, which Mike does not concede to. Lucas decides to find Will out on his own. He gears up and leaves as the repairman watches him. 11 wanders into a nearby supermarket and has a flashback to Brenner placing her in the bathtub to find the Demogorgon. She steals several boxes of Eggos from the store and uses her powers to stop the manager from pursuing her. Joyce and Hopper track down Eves and are shown by her sister Becky that she is catatonic, essentially. She explains that Eves was part of the MK Ultra project when she was pregnant with Jane, but Terry Eves miscarried her. When Eves was lucid, she insisted that Jane had been born and had special abilities. Well, she just says abilities. While buying hunting supplies, Nancy and Jonathan notice the local theater has been defaced with graffiti insulting her and find Steve, Tommy, Carol, and Nicole spraying more nearby. Steve dismisses her when she confronts him and provokes Jonathan into a fight. Jonathan defeats Steve, brutally knocking him down and repeatedly punching him in ferocity and savagery. Jonathan is later arrested when he accidentally injures a arriving Officer Callahan. Unable to get into the lab because of its fenced-off perimeter, Lucas climbs a tree and stakes it out with binoculars. And Mike and Dustin come across Troy and James in the woods while looking for 11, who chase them to Settler Quarry and corner them at the edge of the cliff. Troy orders Mike to jump off it or else he will cut out Dustin's teeth. Mike jumps but is caught in midair by 11's powers, who had heard them looking for her and followed their voices. She lifts Mike's back to safety and breaks Troy's arm with her mind, forcing the bullies to flee, I should say. 11 has a flashback to encountering the Demogorgon in the Void, their combined powers accidentally opening the lab's gate and freeing it into the lab. 11 tearfully admits that she opened the gate, but Mike and Dustin insist that she is their friend, and the three embrace. As they return home, the repairman calls in their location, and Lucas watches soldiers leave the lab. And he also sees the same van that the repairman had from earlier. So Lucas is onto this as well. So that's what ends this episode of Stranger Things. Pretty good episode. We learned a little bit more about the Demogorgon, and we learned 11 has really good powers. So I'm going to give this episode an 8.4 out of 10. And my character of the episode, I'm going to go with 11 just because of the things that she did in this episode. But, I mean, it's an ensemble cast. Everybody does a really good job. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Stranger Things, which I hope you are if you're watching this video, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. Share this video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Stranger Things. What would you rate it? And whom, if you had to choose, would be your character or characters of the episode, and anything else that you want to add in addition to that. Let me know what your thoughts are coming up for Stranger Things Season 5 in the comment section. When is it going to be released? Hopefully early November. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. Subscribe to the channel. You're watching the video anyway. Help me get over 100,000 subscribers. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.